Don't look back, we're here to stay. A life we knew would come one day. And this is it, the borderline to where the future leaves us behind. The fire will burn and never die. Looking through the eyes of a brand new life. And so just find me, just find me. Sparks will fly if we scream now. This is not how we're gonna go. We are the ones who'll never let go. Just watch us roll till we're no one knows. We'll never grow.
Formula 1 returns to China for the second round of the 2017 season, and with the race expected to be run in completely dry conditions, the majority of the F1 paddock was expecting that this race would be the first true indication of each of the 10 teams' car performances. McLaren were understandably elated with Carmen Jorda's points finish at the previous race at Australia, and taking a very valuable point that could see McLaren overhaul Sauber for 9th place in the Constructors. Williams were left scratching their heads at their outright lack of pace both in the wet and dry conditions, and rumours are already circulating that the team are working on a B-spec car for the second half of the season to bring at round 12. Toyota were attracting a lot of attention in the previous race, and not just for their distinctive car colours, and planned upgrades already coming for this race. They're hoping that Hamilton and Ocon could take the fight to Williams. Taking a look at the qualifying grid for the Chinese Grand Prix, and once again it'll be Fernando Alonso starting on pole, with 5-time world champion Sebastian Vettel completing the front row. Jean-Eric Vergne will start from 3rd on the grid, getting the better this time of Pascal Wehrlein as they settle for 4th. Josh Thierry with a much improved qualifying will line up in 5th, with Daniel Kvyat as the lead Red Bull, completing the 3rd row. Then come the 2 Red Bull and Williams teammates, with Max Verstappen starting from 7th, and Sebastian Buemi starting from 8th. Nico Hülkenberg will start from 9th, a very impressive lap in the Renault, with Lewis Hamilton completing the top 10 as the lead of the Toyotas. Hamilton's teammate Esteban Ocon will start from 11th, with Robert Kubica sitting 12th as the lead of the Hasses. Gasly will once again get the better of Carlos Sainz to line up in 13th. Daniel Ricciardo could only manage 15th on the grid. Lance Stroll starts from down in 16th and 2nd of the Hasses, with Rui Harianto in 17th, Carmen Jorda in 18th, and once again the 2 Saubers of Adrian Sutil and Antonio Giovinazzi round off the back of the grid. Hey guys, Tara here. Welcome back to UniONE, this time round 2 for season 4 of the Chinese Grand Prix. If you did miss the last time out of Australia, definitely do go and check that race out before watching this one. But now looking into this race, seeing Toyota attracting a lot of attention, and definitely not just because of their pink cars. We've seen that Hamilton did have some genuine pace at the previous race at Australia, and could they be a dark horse in the race? Also, what about Rui Harianto? We saw Harianto having that amazing race to a P6 finish last season. I doubt he'll definitely pull out some minor miracle if he wants to repeat that result. And now, cutting back up to us, landing up in P5, pretty much the maximum they could get out of this Williams, but crucially out-qualifying both of the Red Bulls, and our teammate Sebastian Buemi, hopefully with a good start, can try and get in amongst the 2 Mercedes and the 2 Ferraris who once again occupy the top 4 positions, or at the very least keep Daniel Kvyat and Max Verstappen behind us. But now coming to the 5 red lights, the start of the Chinese Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go. We get a lot of wheel spin there on the start, really bogged down. That's what you're going to have. Now we've got Daniel Kvyat just going to race side by side with us now. Coming down his tailwind, Kvyat's trying to move that up the inside and keep it side by side now. With Daniel Kvyat trying to hold it right around the outside. We've got the sweeping line there right around the outside. We did manage to get it just about right around the outside of Daniel Kvyat once again, do we? Going to be side by side now coming into turn 2. Daniel Kvyat trying to hold it there right around the outside line. We try and force out the young Russian there. Just like we just about managed to do. Daniel Kvyat still trying to hold it around the outside. But thankfully we just about managed to squeeze out Kvyat. Then we moved to the inside there to defend the inside line. Everyone just bunches up it now. Coming to the end of the first sector. We have to stay behind the Pascal Vallon. The yellow flag's further behind, so maybe been a bit of business there with one of the cars further behind. But thankfully everyone still looks like they have just about managed to get through the hairpin style corner there. Now coming through the sweeping S section, this is where we're losing quite a bit of time here in qualifying. You've seen the chassis and aero compared to the Mercedes, Ferrari and of course the two Red Bulls behind us is honestly, it's seen for the last race, is really no match for the Ferraris at least, but the straight line speed is enough for, in qualifying at least, for us to get ahead there of the two Red Bulls. Of course with their cars with power unit not quite up to scratch yet with the BMW AMG or Ferrari engines. And now coming around this long straight, this is where hopefully our straight line speed advantage, albeit only slow but it's still an advantage, will hopefully come into play. But you can just see in a straight line, Wehrlein and Alonso and the two Ferraris already pulling away from us. So talking of pulling away, you see Alonso already starting to pull away slightly there from that Ferrari in second place. Now coming up to the hairpin, you see Pascal Wehrlein looking very, very racy on the back there of the second of the Ferraris. There's just behind, so it's Sebastian Vettel there in third. So it's Verne once again currently outperforming Sebastian Vettel, which I'm guessing the Scuderia really weren't expecting when they signed Jean-Eric Vergne. Now yellow flags up in front. Don't really know who this is. Is that one of the Mercedes just pulled off to the side there? Mercedes out of the race. Fernando Alonso's out of the Grand Prix after only one lap. Fernando Alonso out of the Grand Prix. And taking a look at a replay of what just happened to Fernando Alonso, see there's just coming down straight and just pulls off there to the inside. So must have been some kind of mechanical issue. So a bit of smoke coming outside of his car there. So really not looking good for AMG so far. I mean, they switched. Did AMG design the whole power unit because they're expecting a much improved reliability? Now they've got Pascal Wehrlein now looking to go right around the outside. Now Sebastian Vettel can try hard right around the outside there of the five-time world champion. That's going to be a drag race now down the straight into the hairpin. It's like Pascal Wehrlein's already got ahead there, so it looks like the AMG engine does have some pace in it. But it just seems the reliability still isn't there for Mercedes. Now that's cost Fernando Alonso possibly the race victory. Now we have a look up the inside there, Sebastian Vettel. Once again showing our power advantage in pure straight line speed over the Ferrari. You can see there with the Ferrari downforce, Vettel just able to pull away from us there. Looks like Wehrlein's already starting to pull away as well from Sebastian Vettel. So the Mercedes do look to be working well around the check once again. Now getting insulation actually now, we're getting a line insulation down the back of Sebastian Vettel. I'm going to pull to the inside now with the five-time world champion. Now going to say one Vettel there and drive it right around the outside there. Getting very late on the brakes. It runs out a bit wide there, gets on the grass. He's lost control. He's half spun into the car. Now smashing him away. Means Vettel's out of the race as well. Sebastian Vettel's there. The wheels stuck on the front of his car. Now the five-time world champion is out of the Grand Prix. So we're only on lap 3 of the race. And two of the major front runners, Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel, are now out of the Grand Prix. Now as we actually go purple there through the first sector, which is a bit surprising, seeming Wehrlein and Verne is already pulling away there from Wehrlein. Have already got through the sector, so really putting there a really good first sector. Imagine the slipstream that we're getting off the back of Sebastian Vettel really did help us there to improve first time. And there's confirmation that Sebastian Vettel is now out of the Grand Prix. So now with two of the major front runners out of the race, there really is a chance now for two extra of the midfield cars to really take some valuable points in the midfield battle. Once again, they're going purple through the second sector as well. So it looks like we really have found some really good pace on this lap. It looks like Daniel Kvyat, of course, found even more pace with the cornering ability of that Red Bull. With no line speed, the Red Bull really is no match for our Williams. But now Daniel Kvyat will now have DRS because it is lap 3 of the race. So let's see if Kvyat can gain in the DRS now on the back of us. Coming down into the hairpin, he's definitely too far back to make a move coming into the hairpin. Let's go for an almighty dive bomb, which thankfully he doesn't. Now coming down to the end of the lap now, hopefully down the next straight, he will try and make another move on us. Hopefully for us he doesn't, because our straight line speed is quite a significant gap. Now Jean-Eric Vergne puts up the fastest lap of the Grand Prix once again. Vergne just starting to dominate this race once again. Now he's got a clear air ahead of him, thanks to Alonso's retirement. Now Sebastian Buemi has to come in the pits. Of course we saw that he made contact there with Sebastian Vettel taking off his wheel. It looks like that was just enough. You see there, it looks like half his front wing's been locked off there by Sebastian Vettel with his half spin. Honestly, I probably would have to say that was the incident was a racing incident, but Vettel just took too much speed around the corner and just couldn't control it. So honestly, I would have to say that was Vettel's fault, actually. And that's really just cost Sebastian Buemi and is really going to have to push now for the rest of the race. If there's any chance that our teammate was going to try and take some points from this race. Now cutting all the way now onto lap 5, 3 laps later. We're keeping a relative gap to Wehrlein. I mean, Wehrlein's not disappearing into the distance unlike Jean-Eric Vergne. Now coming out of the hairpin, really poor race there. Now Daniel Kvyat's going to pull side by side with us now. Coming around the section, Kvyat's going to try and hold it right around the outside now. Keep side by side just to avoid contact there. With Daniel Kvyat now keep side by side now. You have Kvyat forced there to the outside line. We have to get the sweeping line right around the outside. We have to leave Daniel Kvyat the space now. Once again we have the inside line. Daniel Kvyat has more of a racing line around the outside. And we just managed to hold on there from Daniel Kvyat. Now coming down the straight, Kvyat is a lot closer to us this time. So with DRS you imagine that Daniel Kvyat will try and make a move on the back of us now. As we're coming out to this long sweeping right-hander where this high-speed corner the Williams seems honestly pretty decent for what it feels like, but it doesn't seem there's nothing compared to what this Red Bull. Can you see there Kvyat keeping a much tighter line there, so covering less distance, keeping more life in his tyres, keeping more momentum as well. Now with DRS, it's Daniel Kvyat close enough now, close to us to try and make a move coming down the straight. You see him straight line speed advantage of our Williams. You can see there, Daniel Kvyat, even with DRS, actually looks to be losing a bit of time there in straight line. So once again, Cosworth really do have a lot of work to do on their power units. We're now cutting a few laps further on now until lap 7. We're now coming into the pits now for our first stop of the race. And we're going on to a set of soft tyres now for this second into the race. Seeing we learned our lesson from last season, don't use 2 sets of the fastest tyres straight away if you get stuck behind traffic. Maybe back to Brazil where me and Boemi got stuck behind Shaw for an entire stint, lost effectively a pit stop worth of time there and any chance of good points in that race. So if you go on the softer tyres now, if you do get held up by traffic, we're able to go a lot further in the stint, then we can make up the time then. Now coming out now into Taiwan, we just avoided taking out there one of the McLarens, so getting very close in the pit exit. I mean, honestly, this is a rather dangerous pit exit in my opinion. Just come straight out into a high speed turn 1, and like I said, it looks like we almost just rear-ended the McLaren in front of us. Actually stood behind one of the Saubers, so the Saubers look to have found some good pace in a straight line, meaning the Cosworth power unit is faster in a straight line in terms of power than the Honda in the McLaren. Now we've got Carl and Jordan in front of us. So we've seen Jordan obviously was obviously driver of the day for last race, taking an amazing points position there for the team. Now trying to go around the outside, looking all over the back of Carl Jordan. Now as you get a move there, right around to the inside there of Carl Jordan, managed to make that move work. Going to keep it side by side with George. She's still going to hold it around the outside. We just managed to squeeze out the Spaniard there. Now we can try and chase down Adrian Sutil in the Sauber. So Sutil looks to be having a pretty, you saw last season, he really was improved towards the end of the season. Looks like you're just trying to carry this momentum over this season. We're seeing that Jordan really got a lucky point. So in the Sauber does look to be the faster car, but it looks like they may be unfortunate not to score a point. Now going side by side now, they just seen how much more straight line speed in this BMW power unit is the Cosworth power unit in the back there of the Sauber. They're coming into the hairpin. It's like Sutil's not going to try and put up a fight, try and dive it back down the inside. I mean, there's not really much point. See, he's on soft tyres and in a much slower car. In qualifying, Sutil was about 3 seconds slower than the time that we managed, and over 4 seconds slower than the actual pole time set by Alonso. Now the next guy in front of us looks to be Giovinazzi. So Giovinazzi once again looks to be much improved in this race, actually outperforming Adrian Sutil so far. See, doesn't say super soft tyres, so that probably would just explain his pace advantage on faster tyres. Now we're getting right on the back now of Giovinazzi. Looks to go right around the outside, which then tests the inside of Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi leaving the door wide open there. We have to get some poor exit as well, so honestly a rookie mistake there from Giovinazzi, but it is only his second race in Formula 1 and he's in a car that is much slower than ours, so honestly I'd forgive him for that mistake there. Now we can try and chase down Rio Haryanto in the other McLaren in front of us. And Haryanto looks to be keeping on to the mid pack of cars just about, so once again Haryanto really having to work in that McLaren to drag it up the order. And they're cutting a bit further on. We've now caught on to the back there of Rio Haryanto, now caught on right onto the back now of one of the Torossos, and there's a car coming out of the pit lane there, coming to one. There's a big contact that someone's lost a bit of front wing, so like I said, it looks like the Torossos just smashed into the back of the Red Bull. So once again, the Torossos and Red Bulls not having the best of times together. Now we're all over the back now of Rio Haryanto. I'm still stuck right behind the back of that Torosso. I mean, the McLaren chassis and aerodynamics is far superior to that of the Torosso, but because that Torosso has a Renault power unit in the back of it and every other power unit on the grid is more powerful than the Honda in a straight line, there's really nothing that Haryanto can do about it. But now with the lesser front wing, pretty much half a front wing now on the Torosso, this could leave Haryanto vulnerable, and he does, he slows him down. We're going to actually go right around the outside there of Haryanto, no, all over the back now of the Torosso. So in 2 laps we've managed to make the move there on both of the McLarens, one on the inside of Haryanto there and the other one around the outside on Carmen Jordan. But now we can try and gain it in the slow now on the back of that Torosso, which is actually Pierre Gasly. So Gasly hit into the back there of one of the Red Bulls this time, and it was Carlos Sainz hitting the back of Max Verstappen last time. So It's getting definitely very close to comfort, just proving my point about why it's a pretty dangerous pit exit there for turn 1, but now we're gaining in slipstream now, and getting them with DRS, and now Renault Power Unit v BMW Power Unit is no match for the Toro Rosso. Now it's going to easily outdrag Pierre Gasly there in a straight line. Gasly there tucks back into our slipstream, he's going to try and make a move back on us, coming down into the hairpin. No, thankfully Gasly doesn't try and move a banzai move there with half a front wing, seeing that could pretty much lop off the rest of it, cause a puncture, maybe take off his wheel, seeing there's less structure there to take impact damage if needs be. And actually got one of the Red Bull there in front of us. Actually, Daniel Kvyat there on a set of medium tyres. So is Daniel Kvyat looking to go to the end of this race? I mean, he's going to set medium, so surely Kvyat is looking to try and one-stop this race. And if so, we really need to put our foot down now to try and catch on to the back now of Daniel Kvyat. I'm talking about the foot down now, cutting all the way onto lap 17. It took us this long to catch up to the back of Daniel Kvyat. So it seems we had the pace in qualifying, but in the race we have very little pace, it seems, because we're on the softer tyres. And in a faster car in a straight line, it actually seems to be not a good combination compared to a car which is slow in a straight line but far superior through the corners. Now on the back of Daniel Kvyat, gaining so much good at that power unit, still really isn't up to scratch. Now pulled to the inside now, Daniel Kvyat coming into a heavy braking there for the hairpin, and try and hold that up the inside line, take a very tight line there. The inside moves over the racing line. And now we managed to make the move there on Daniel Kvyat, but now Kvyat will now have DRS to come back to us, because unlike most tracks, it's not a double DRS zone, which is actually a good thing, so it gives the car that got overtaken a chance to try and re-overtake. But now Kvyat with DRS, we're coming down, looks like now it's turn 1, looks like we are managing to pull away there from Daniel Kvyat, so we need to put in some storming laps now to pull away from the Russian, but we're definitely not going to pull a pissed up advantage. We're really going to have to push hard on our final stint to try and catch up this time. Now talking of coming onto our final stint, now coming to the pits now for the second time to go onto a final set of super soft tyres to take us to the end of the race. See, they're a pretty lonely pit lane, honestly. There's like with any car in the pit lane. Now coming in there for a set of super soft tyres, and then coming back out onto the track now. Is hopefully we don't get stuck in too much traffic. I mean, we shouldn't be. There's definitely going to be no McLaren or Sauber problems this time. Unless they're trying a one stop as well, which honestly they probably should. But coming out now into turn 1. There's pretty much no one near us, and the car behind us there is this Toyota of Hamilton. There's actually no one else. Now we've got Robert Kubica in front of us there, currently in an excellent P4 position for Haas there. Also, Kubica on a set of the medium tyre, so Kubica must be looking to one-stop this race as well. So hopefully, well, we should be able to catch up to Kubica. Now getting all the way now onto lap 22, 28. We've now caught onto the back there. Robert Kubica getting very late on the brakes there, because we've got more grip on our super soft tyres compared to his softs. In Kubica there really was a lot of concern in the paddock as to whether he'd be able to take the G-forces, of course, with his arm having absolutely no muscle in it, and having to do both the gear shifts on both sides, the up and down shifts, pretty much like Jacques Villeneuve did as well. Now getting all over the back there of Robert Kubica, it seems he's got so much more pace on our softer tyres, and with honestly the faster car. I mean, the Haas, you see in the front of it, it pretty much just does look like a grey version of the Williams, which we'll see from the front of it, hopefully when we try and get past him. But now we're gaining in the hopefully now we'll have DRS now on the back of Robert Kubica, hopefully, because the Haas is the BMW B team. We've got the same power unit, but hopefully Kubica won't put up that much of a fight on us. Now we're gaining in the DRS now. We're going to pull to the inside, are we? No, we pulled to the inside now of Robert Kubica, very close there to most likely wheel to contact. See there, the Haas basically just looks like a grey and red version of the Williams. But we managed to make the move there. Robert Kubica actually gets a pretty decent run there out of the hairpin. When now coming down into the final corner, Kubica will have DRS now to try and come back. Does Kubica going to try and make a move on us coming down to turn 1 to see there through the final corner with our superior aerodynamics over the Haas, but able to pull away there from Kubica. Now cutting a bit further on, taking a look at the running order, and John-Eric Vergne is just absolutely dominating this race, and you can see there how much he's pulling away from Pascal Wehrlein, who's in second, and actually just looks to be falling away there from the Frenchman. And we have Daniel Kvyat currently in an excellent P3 position there for Red Bull on a set of medium tyres. And just how far ahead he is of us in 4th on our. Obviously we're going faster than Kvyat. It was just a lot of ground to make up. Then we got running onto a very excellent P5 position there for Haas. And then we have the lead of the Toyotas, which is Lewis Hamilton. Once again, really impressing in the Toyota. Then we have the second of the there of Lance Stroll. So Stroll starting from 16th, and I've got one of the other Red Bull of Max Verstappen coming up right behind us. So Verstappen with a much improved performance this time out to not be 3 laps down and in the points positions. But it seems the Haas really are going well at this track in race pace compared to their qualifying pace at least. Then we have Esteban Ocon there in the second about keeping onto the back of Stroll. And Verstappen, of course, they fighting then. Maybe Ocon and the Renault here. Daniel Ricciardo, that's definitely, yeah, Daniel Ricciardo. And then, so, of course, there's no difference in straight line speed between the Renault and between the Toro Rosso, so it's also about the aero and chassis of the two cars. Then we have Sebastian Buemi on a pretty excellent recovery drive. And so far, I think he's just about on the edge of the points pay positions down the set of medium tyres. We have Nico Hulkenberg down the set of soft tyres. Really is being outshone by his teammate Ricciardo in this race. And then we have Rui Harianto, who's just about managing to keep on to the back there of Hulkenberg. And then we have the lead of the Saubers, which is Antonio Giovinazzi this time. Giovinazzi really is outperforming Adrian Sutil. Then we have Carmen Jorda in the second of the McLarens. Really not being able to live with Harianto's pace. So then we have Adrian Sutil, who really has dropped off quite a bit in this single race. And then we actually have Pierre Gasly at the back of the grid. Imagine after that front wing change, just lost a lot of time there in the pit stops. But actually cutting onto the end now of the final lap. That's how it would stay for Johnny. And win his Grand Prix to make it 2 wins out of 2 and 2 wins out of for the Scuderia Ferrari team. Come back onto us now, coming down the hairpin now for the final time. We're still in P4 and it's seen Daniel Ricciardo absolutely nowhere to be seen there on the mini-map. So it really looks like the one stop honestly was the way to go in this race, but I just didn't feel confident with doing one stop. That I'd have too little pace and just fall back and maybe even get a puncture. So, but still P4, it's definitely a lot higher than what the team were expecting, seeming if all the top teams were there. Still a P4 finish, definitely still wouldn't have work to do for the remainder of the season. Hopefully the rumours are true that they do bring a B-spec car for the remainder of the season. As you can see, Riviere Bani looking very happy once again with Jean-Eric Vergne's performance. Once again, makes it 2 wins out of 2 there for himself, and really is starting to run away the championship lead. Honestly, before the championships even really begun. Taking a look at the race results, Jean-Eric Vergne will take his second victory in as many races. With Pascal Wehrlein in second, 15.5 seconds behind, and Daniel Kvyat riding off the podium in third for Red Bull on that one-stop strategy. We come home in fourth, 14 seconds behind Daniel Kvyat in the end, with Robert Kubica holding on to a 5th position there for Haas, and there for Toyota. You see there's 6 different teams in the top 6, and really you can say the top 6 will be Hamilton over a minute off the win from Jean-Eric Vergne. Verstappen comes home in 7th there after doing a 2-stop strategy as well, and managed to get past Lance Stroll in the end, who finishes in 8th, with Ocon in 9th, and Daniel Ricciardo running the top 10 there for Renault. So to get a point in 12th, 2 seconds to that final point being position. Manages 14th there for McLaren, with in 15th, Adrian Sutil in 16th, and Pierre Gasly would round off the finishes in 18th, with Giovinazzi there in 18th, unfortunately doing nothing in the end, with Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso running off the 20 cars. Moving on to the driver standings, and first of all, apologies for having to use my Wikia points table. The one that I made, like the normal blue one, for some reason that deleted itself from my computer, so thankfully I've still got this one. So I just have to use this one, unfortunately, for both points for this race. You see there, Vergne in the lead on 40 points, 13 points clear of Pascal Wehrlein, who's in second, and Daniel Kvyat now moves up into third on 19 points. We're in fourth on 18, with Fernando Alonso in 5th on 15, Sebastian Vettel in 6th on 10, joint on points there with Kubica actually, but on virtue of better result. Sebastian Vettel there is in 6th, Esteban Ocon there now on 8, Hamilton in 9th on 6, Verstappen there in 10th also on 6, along there with Buemi as well, and Stroll rounds off the top there on 5. It's pretty close there in the midfield points. Hulkenberg in 13th on 3, with his teammate Daniel Ricciardo also on 3 points. In 15th, with Carlos Sainz on 2 points, and Jordan rounding off the point scorers, with Haryanto, Sutil, Gasly and Giovinazzi both yet to score. Moving on to the constructors' standings, and Ferrari now have an 8-point lead over Mercedes on 50 points to Mercedes 42, with Red Bull in 3rd on 26, Williams in 4th on 24, with Toyota running off the top 5 there on 21, so all very close there, but still between Red Bull, Williams and Toyota. Haas are in 6th on 15, with Renault in 7th on 6, Toro Rosso in 8th on 2, McLaren in 9th, with that 1 point Jordan scored last race, and Sauber in 10th, yet to score. As for my driver of the day for this race, honestly I'd have to say Robert Kubica. I mean, we've seen that the Haas didn't have much pace in qualifying. Kubica, I imagine, 12th on the grid, and beating out both the Toyotas, which should be pretty well so far. Imagine to take that P5 position, of course with all the G-force as well, and only really having one arm to do everything with, both the gear shifts and everything. Yeah, definitely have to say Robert Kubica for my driver of the day. Also, comment down below whether you want me to use these tables more often, like the result points table ones, or to go back to the normal blue ones. Honestly, I'm fine with either, but just comment down below which one you prefer. So that's been the Chinese Grand Prix. Thanks for watching. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Comment down below, vote for your driver of the day with the poll link in the description, and check out the Wikia page for all the news and everything on Season 4 and all the other seasons in career mode. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.